Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be reading a book about a new continent, about Africa. Before we get started, let's review our essential question for this module and talk a little bit more about what we've been working on. So our essential question says, what makes the world fascinating? So if something is fascinating, that means it's really, really interesting, and we want to learn more about it. So we're looking at these different 7 continents, and we're figuring out what makes them interesting, what makes them fascinating. Last week we looked a little bit at Europe and Asia. We're going to continue and we're going to revisit those soon. But this week we're kind of getting our introduction into Africa and Antarctica. So yesterday we learned about Antarctica. Today we're going to look at Africa. And our question says, what interesting natural features can people see in Africa and Antarctica? So in Antarctica, our story yesterday, we saw about like the big mountains and the glaciers and some of the really neat animals that live there. So today we're going to see what natural features we learn about from this book. So first, let's look at our map. Our big map. And remember our 7 continents. One of our goals is to be able to name our 7 continents, which is why we go over them every day. So our 7 continents: North America, South America, Antarctica, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia. That is all 7 of our continents. So let's take a look at Africa for today. So again, our front cover, our back cover, our spine. This is an informational book. It has photographs in it instead of drawings. Photographs are great because they can help teach us about things and help us to picture that place in our minds. So it's very helpful to have photographs, especially in an informational text. So our table of contents, that is one of our text features. It tells us what we're going to learn about in this story, and it also tells us the page number. So if you wanted to just open the book and go to the Modern Marvels page, then you could find Modern Marvels and see that that's on page 28. So this is a great way to find things if you're going back in the text to do some writing or to look at things. All right, welcome to Africa. Africa is a continent. It has more than 50 countries. Wow, so that's already something super different than our continent that we learned about yesterday, because Antarctica had no countries, but Africa has over 50 countries. So again, I will show you. Here is Africa on that larger map. The largest pieces of land on Earth are continents. There are 7. Africa is the yellow continent on this map. People of Africa. So again, you see it's in blue. It's at the top. That's called a heading. We worked on those last week. And a heading, we know exactly what this section is going to be about. And authors might choose to make it a different color or a different size to really draw a reader's attention. So we are the readers. Many people live in Africa. Some live in cities. Cairo is Africa's largest city. It is in Egypt. These children go to school near there. So here's the step pyramid is near Cairo, Egypt. And so here's some kids going to school just like we go to school. Some Africans work on farms. They grow corn, rice, and other crops. And that's a mama carrying her baby. Children play soccer in villages, cities, and on the beach. Soccer is the most popular sport in Africa. So here are some boys playing on the beach near Cape Town, South Africa. Wild places. Africa has deserts. The Sahara is the world's largest desert. It is very hot and dry. So here are some camels walking across the desert. And again, your job for today is to be thinking about some wonder questions. What do you wonder about Africa? Africa has grassy places called savannas. Savannas have wet seasons and dry seasons. Savannas have few trees. Again, if I'm reading too quickly, you can always pause the book, pause the video, and look more closely. There are rainforests in Africa. It rains almost every day in the forest. Many kinds of plants grow there. So here's a national park rainforest in Africa. Many kinds of plants. Ooh, amazing animals. Africa is famous for its wild animals. Gorillas live in the forest. So this is a silverback gorilla in the rainforest. Zebras, giraffes, and lions live in the savanna. So here's a herd of zebras. A herd is a group. So there's a herd of zebras. So what questions do you have? Remember to use your question words. Where, when, what, why, how, and who. Water and land. The Nile River in Africa is the world's longest river. Ooh, very cool. People live near rivers so they can get water. So here are some girls filling water jugs in the Nile River. Kilimanjaro is Africa's tallest mountain. People climb this mountain. They visit Africa to see its amazing animals, people, and places. So Kilimanjaro National Park in Africa. So many people climb that mountain. Do you remember what the tallest mountain in the world was? We learned about that last week. That one is called Mount Everest. But Mount Kilimanjaro is a super tall mountain too. And that one is located in Africa. So some modern marvels. The Library of Alexandria in Africa is a very modern building. It has both sharp angles and smooth curves. Columns hold up the parts of the building. The Library of Alexandria can hold millions of books. It also has art galleries and museums. That is a super cool building. All right, let's see. Ooh, meet a meerkat. Meerkats live together in family groups. Meerkat families work together to gather food and raise their young. You can find meerkats on the African savannas. And then for words we know, we have desert, gorilla, mountain, and savanna. So what questions do you have? What do you wonder or what do you notice? You might wonder something about meerkats or about a different kind of animal that we just learned about. You might wonder something about the cities or about the desert. What is something that you wonder about Africa? And again, here is Africa. It is a very large continent. It's this big piece right here, and I'm going to link some additional videos about Africa below this video so that you can learn even more. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. See you back here tomorrow. Bye.